They ran into each other at a Lakers game.
Oh,
But and all the screeners
yeah.
immediately thought,
All right, folks, we're getting ready to go live on YouTube. We are getting the gremlins at YouTube working to get us live. And once I share the link, we will be live. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, you are listening to Suds News, and we're almost there. No, it's not made for kids. We're going to share it. We're going to copy. We're going to paste. We're going to go on to Twix. And here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds News, brought to you by Suds in the Squared Circle. I am Vinnie, and sitting over to my, well, if you're watching the screen, to my right, actually, no, it is to my left. But Angela is here. She's going to be filling
I'm the girl one.
in. Yes, exactly.
I'm
Uh,
the girl one.
Angela is going to be sitting in and being my co-host for the next few weeks, as posted on Twix last week. Christy is taking a few days off, a few weeks off from the show and from the podcast, just to get her stuff situated. Um, but Angela has been gracious enough to join me, and we have great shows. Um, we have great chemistry, and you know what? I couldn't think of a better person to fill in. Angela, how are you today?
I am wonderful. I'm doing great.
That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear it.
How are
Um,
you?
I'm doing good. I got out of work earlier today, so I got some time to relax. I got to watch today's episode of GH, so I'm well up to speed. And
Hmm.
you before we went live, well, before we even get into any GH,
Hmm.
let me get some church notifications out of the way. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Get notified. Like the video. You are watching Suds News, brought to you by Suds in the Squared Circle. And as always, we are an official affiliate of the WWE shop, which is a Fanatics experience. And you can go ahead and go to sudsandsquaredcircle.com/wrestling merch. That has the affiliate link in the URL, and whatever you buy gives us a commission. You can get some WrestleMania merchandise, you can get some Roman Reigns merchandise, any WWE merchandise you can want, and it is there, and we get a commission off it. So again, that's sudsandsquaredcircle.com/wrestling merch. Also, this past weekend on Twix, and going through Facebook now, but this past weekend on Twix, it was announced the who is presenting each of the Sudsy Awards, and it was announced that Angela right here will be presenting the Couple of the Year award for the Sudsies. So go on. That voting is still open until Sunday, July 7th. Sudsandsquaredcircle.com/Sudsy voting. And you can go ahead and get those votes up there. And I want to thank everybody. Over the past week, we've had such a tremendous subscriber jump over the past couple weeks. So I want to thank you all for subscribing, and keep going. Share and share like.
Hmm.
And also, I want to thank everybody who has voted for the Sudsy Awards, because that has gone up as well. So we're making waves. We're doing everything here, and I'm grateful myself for the exposure. Now, while before we get into any current, last week GH news that we're here to talk about, you and I were talking a little bit off air before we went live, and you were
Hmm.
about the Nicholas Chavez news. Um,
Yes.
and I let you unleash you with your news. Soap opera, I don't know, one of the dirt sheets from the soap operas has said that maybe it's Nicholas Chavez returning, who Frank Valentini teased, because he had a picture posted on Gio's, the kid that plays Gio's Instagram, and
Hmm.
filled in the truth to the story. So go ahead.
They ran into each other at a Lakers game. That's why they saw
So
each other at a Lakers game. Um, Nicholas Alexander Chavez is not coming back. He was never the person coming back. And if they were to bring him back, it would be
Mhm.
a one-off thing. He'd be a ghost or a dream telling Trina to move on.
Yes.
That is literally the most you could hope for if you're a Sabrina fan, and I don't even think they're going to do that, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Um, Geo's for Trina.
Yeah.
I've been telling everybody that since before, he was announced. They were going to recast Spencer. They made the choice to instead bring in a new love interest for Trina, and it's Geo. That's how it
Yes.
goes. It's a soap opera. That's how it goes. Nicholas Alexander Chavez is not coming back. It was announced today that he has booked another Ryan Murphy show. Ryan
Oh,
Murphy
okay.
was the one who produced
Yep.
Monsters. Ryan Murphy cast you, he's going to cast you in everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's, kind of his thing. So, and so he booked another one. So
Yeah. So
it's
he's going
not
to be
him.
busy now.
It was never, Frank said that a former cast member was coming back. It's not him.
Yeah.
It was never going to be him. I think it's Greg Vaughn as
That would
Lucky.
be because, as far as I heard, he's wrapped at Days.
He is out at days. Um, he's recently been posting some throwback Lucky pics,
Okay.
and he has followed a few GH people that he wasn't following before.
All right. And I think he
Those
looks
are
like
all
some media
signs.
stuff. Yep.
They're signs. Um, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it
Yep.
makes sense with why, they decided to
Break up
get
Finn
rid of
and
Finn and
Yep.
break them up. Um, Laura, and a few weeks ago, I guess at the ALS benefit, Jeannie Francis was asked by one of the fans if there was a chance of Laura getting any of her kids back on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And she told them to have hope. There was a good chance coming up. So all of that tells me it's Greg Vaughn. We'll
All
see.
right. Yeah. No, that would be a
I think he
one I
makes
would
the
not have
most
expected.
sense. Yeah. I mean, I was hoping for Ted King. I mean, I'm
That's
fine
what I
with
was
Greg
hoping.
Vaughn as well. I was hoping for Ted King, but he did recently just post that he's back at Bold, so it's
Okay.
not going to be Ted King, sadly. Um,
There was also rumors that Morgan may be coming back. Brian Craig kind of teased it and
yeah, he was
trolled
trolling.
the internet.
Yeah, he was trolling. It wasn't going to be. It's not him. He'd like it to be, but it's not. Um, I also saw. I mean, it's definitely not going to be Jonathan Jackson.
No,
He had said that he wasn't taking any acting jobs that didn't glorify God, so and that would not be General Hospital.
no, it would not be.
Um, and some people thought it was JJ Watt, John Jacob York, but it's not. The
He
show
is
had
back.
already announced that he was back
Right.
filming well before the Emmys. So yeah, no.
Yeah. So I mean,
My best bet is Greg Vaughn.
and now that you bring it up, it makes sense. Like I said, he is out at days. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that whole thing, I haven't been, and I said I watched Days for the first time last week in a while because I just haven't been keeping up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw um basically where Clyde told Chad that Abigail's alive. I
Mm-hmm.
saw how, as of right now, Steve Burton is still on days. That's how far
Right.
behind it
Oh
is.
yeah,
They're 6 months
they're
behind.
many, many months. He'll be gone soon, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're many months ahead. Yeah.
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 But
So
let's get into actually get into GH. And since we brought up the fact that Finn and Liz are no more, which is
mhm.
the title of the episode, the end of Finn Lizzy, which is what their couple name was, apparently,
Mhm.
or Fizzle or Fizzy or well, either way it fizzled.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
fact is that Elizabeth, as we left her last Friday's episode, she
Mm-hmm.
opened the door to Finn and Barb on the couch, and Monday picked up right where that left off. Um,
Yep.
and lo and behold, Finn, being the drunken fool that he was, kind of just sat there stunned while Elizabeth kind of took charge and kicked Barb out of the apartment.
Yes.
And that's I don't know how I mean there's really not much more to go over. He
Yeah.
got drunk, he went home with another girl, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now, although it was really good, that we did find out that it was Jason
Jake called.
uh that Jake had called, and
Hmm.
which made honestly made the most sense.
Yeah.
Um, as you know, and I really liked how Jason and Elizabeth were sitting at the poolside. You know, it's like
Mm.
it wasn't a romantic thing like a lot of the liaison fans want it to be.
Oh
It was
God,
just
I know.
co-parenting. It was
It was co-parenting. It was being friendly, and it was funny. Did you see Burton's podcast?
I have not watched the most recent one.
He's not a fan.
He's not a fan of
He didn't
liaison.
like it. He did
Oh,
no. He's not a fan of those scenes.
okay.
He did not like, and it was pretty. He didn't want Jason to put his feet in the pool,
Oh, okay.
but they told him he had to do it. He said he'd do it, but he was never going to do it again. And he was not happy. He's like, the scenes are fine. It was about the friendship. That's great. Whatever. The intent was fine. I just didn't think Jason would. But the looks on his face and everything were hysterical. And Bradford kept like, but they were really beautiful scenes. He's like, it's what it is. He was just like, not, yeah. It warmed my Jarly loving heart.
Um, yeah, because I saw that I saw some of the things being posted online that oh yeah, they got Steve to take off his shoes and put his feet in the water and whatever. um
Yeah, it's honestly, my thing about that whole thing is that it's the underlying purpose of it is about the Jake and Jason relationship.
right, exactly.
That's what the point of the scenes were.
Right.
It wasn't, and of course, I'm a shipper. Shippers are going to ship, and that's what they do. But if anybody's holding their breath and waiting for jizz, they need to exhale. It's not happening.
Yeah, no, it is not. And we said it, we pretty much have said as much over the past couple of months
Yeah.
as well. And I want to thank, first of all, I also want to thank everybody for last week tuning in to Suds News on the 10th floor. We had Matt and Kat join with us. They had some Zoom problems for their shows last Sunday. So
Mhm.
Matt and Kat were with us. It was a fantastic show. So not only could you go back into archives to watch that last week's episode, you could also go to the 10th floor YouTube page and watch it
Mhm.
as well. So that's and again, for those of you that are new subscribers to this page,
Mhm.
thank you so much. And again, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, get notified because we're all family here. The 10th floor is going to be
Yeah.
in Sudsy. So we are all family. Moving on, sticking with Jason and Elizabeth. Um, I like how Jason did point out that Jake put the love of his mom ahead of
Mhm.
his animosity for his father
For his dad. Yeah.
because that's what it boils down to. And
Yeah.
I think once this whole thing with the FBI is over with and everything, then we'll get more Jake Jason scenes to
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of
There'll be stuff with his boys and stuff like that. Of course there will. Yeah.
right. Um,
You know.
but either way, I like how it's almost like Jason is the kind of person where he's very protective over anybody he cares about. We know
Oh
that as
God,
his character,
yes. Yeah.
but when you see somebody like Jason interact with somebody like Finn, who we've never really seen interact before,
Yeah.
you know, Jason just came in there and is like, "Hey, is there a problem? Do you need help?"
Yeah.
And he was there regardless of anything.
Right. Yeah. That's Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. All right. So let's see, was there any other Jason Elizabeth scenes? I mean, Elizabeth did thank Jake for
Hmm.
letting her know, and they
Yep.
kind of filled Aiden in on the situation as well.
And yeah.
Yeah. And but I did like how Elizabeth kind of brought up, so why didn't you go to where you were supposed to go? And why were you
Yeah.
outside
Right.
of the
Yeah.
bar?
How were you near that bar? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
It's like
Yep.
you didn't want to come clean and say I was actually sitting inside the bar.
I know. Right. Yeah. Awkward. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a teenager, so I
Yeah.
don't think he's no, he's because he's not in college yet. So he's
What cracks me up is that, the person who needs to find this out, though, is Danny.
Yes,
His
exactly.
brother Danny needs to find this little tidbit out
Yes.
and be like, oh, Mr. Sanctimonious.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I wish they would go with that because that would be some great story between the two
Yeah,
brothers. It would probably be like a 1 day kind of argument and
right,
done because they're not going to spend so much time on it because it's not the A
right,
story.
right.
Um, but it would be fun to watch that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Um, all right. So we did see how um Elizabeth went to Portia though and said that,
Yeah.
drinking and as a friend, you know, but it's still she's a co-chief of staff. So there's
I didn't have issues with today. I had issues with Liz last week doing it.
yes, exactly.
Because she flat out said when Portia was trying to talk to her at first, is that she couldn't talk to her about it because she was the co-chief of staff,
Right,
and then turned around and did it anyway, which
right.
I thought was not good of
Conflict
Liz.
of
But
interest.
yeah, I
But think
understood
about it.
today because today,
Right,
she said that he was going to be coming back treating patients, but
right.
before that was just a not nice
But
thing
think
for her to
about it. I mean, if you actually think about it, who else does Elizabeth have to go to as a friend? Like Portia being the co-chief of staff, Terry, who's her best friend, is also co-chief of staff.
do.
She
Hmm.
could have gone to Stam, perhaps, but they're civil. Could have gone to Carly, civil. But when she actually needs to, I mean, hell, where's Felix? I mean, they're good, but again, she's Felix's boss technically as head nurse.
Right.
So
But I
there's a
mean,
lot of conflict of interest going on.
true. But I mean, she also has supposedly Audrey still there. So, she could
Well,
have gone to she had Laura, she has Laura,
yeah,
you know. She does have other people, but this is the story and that's,
yeah, yeah.
whatever it is, but that's,
And you're
you know.
right. Today she went to Portia as co-chief of staff with the concerns
Mhm.
about him treating patients, and
Right.
you know, I, those were some great scenes. And I know they have to be hard in the grand scheme of things, considering you just broke up with him. Now you're finding out he's coming back to work, and you
Mhm.
know how he is doing in his personal life.
Right. Yeah.
So
Oh, absolutely. Um, so that's what it is. I mean, we're coming to the end of Finn. I
yeah,
don't I'm not 100% sure that they're just, I mean, the end of this week, the breakdown is Finn lashes out. So it doesn't seem like he's just gonna go quietly into that good night to rehab. I don't know if somebody's gonna get hurt, something's gonna happen, and that spurs it. I don't know.
yeah. Uh,
So
but I mean, it will be good to see how they write him off because I know
mhm.
the scenes today with Alexis were fire. Like,
Oh, they were great.
I mean, it's sad that Michael Easton waits until the very end of his contract to bring out this just
Well, I don't think that he waited. I think that he didn't have the material previous to this,
that makes sense. I get that.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Michael Easton is such a great character, but for the longest time, the character of Finn has been just kind of like monotone. It's like Violet brought a little bit to him, which is great, but she kind of outshone
Mhm.
him at times.
Yeah, just, but they haven't done a whole lot with him. So,
No, so it
that's
makes
just,
sense.
yeah.
It's like no matter how much you love an actor, if there's nothing for them and they get released,
Right,
it's probably the best thing because he could go to
right,
any other soap opera and pick up, you
right,
know, any other job.
right,
He's not going to want for work.
right. Yeah.
Um, but so you know, all right, let's kind of get back on track here and get into some Chase in Brooklyn because it kind of ties into the whole Finn thing. This
Hmm.
this this past week, and I'm assuming this week there's gonna be a lot of Finn centered story as they send them out.
Yeah.
Um, Chase and Brooklyn, they are talking about Violet and the fact that Finn is, drinking a lot, and they're worried
Hmm.
about Violet, and now they're talking about taking her to live with him, with them, with the
Hmm.
family, which makes total sense. It's something
It does.
other would do, or,
Hmm.
for his niece. Um,
Right.
and but again, Tracy basically pointed out and said, you can't go in there by force,
Right.
and she basically told them what was going to happen, and it did.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, no matter how much their heart was in the right place, and you can see the way Finn is just pushing everybody away.
Oh
He's
yeah, he is in a total pain spiral.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I feel for, and Michael Easton's playing it wonderfully.
yeah,
And I mean, I feel for all the people who love him too.
right.
I mean, everybody's doing a really great job in this story.
They are.
They really are.
And I'm glad they're kind of keeping Violet to the periphery, because
Hmm.
it's like it's the one thing for them to show the audience, oh, Daddy, you we were supposed to go to the pool, but you were sleeping.
Right.
He was passed out drunk, and we know that. But
Hmm.
for a child, they don't understand the problem. So
Right. I'm worried. I mean, they're definitely not killing Violet off, but I'm just worried that something's going to happen and she's going to be the one who gets hurt,
oh, I hope not.
which me too. I would hope not as well. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll just be a patient. I know that sounds really terrible too, but better than that, some nameless person we never see than the little kid. Um, but I think at first I had thought when I heard that he was leaving, I had thought that Liz would end up with her, but now I think it's going to be Chase and Brooklyn
That's what I'm thinking.
that end up with her too.
Which
That end
again
up with
is
her.
very hard for them to start a marriage with. They've been married for a week, and now they're
Yeah,
looking to bring in, and neither one of them are parents. So it's not like, one of them had a child and getting married with a child. They're neither one
right.
of them have had kids, so now they're bringing in a 7-year-old to live with them. Now, granted, they live at the Quartermain Mansion, so they're, oh, well, no, they have their own apartment, but
They'll
it's
move
still
back. They said they were going to
a move
move back
back.
into the mansion. Yeah.
And
Tracy was
Monica,
so funny with yeah, she will have fun. All of the neglected children of Port Charles enjoy being
yeah.
here. Yeah,
Jane Elliott is fantastic. I don't know if these
a
one-liners are
treasure.
scripted or they're ad-libbed, but either way,
Oh, she's great.
she's
Absolutely great.
fantastic. Yes, she absolutely is.
But
Uh,
it's actually, I mean, this is one thing that's nice about this is, Chase and Brooklyn are married
yeah,
and they're happy, which is, death on a soap opera.
yes,
But this gives them angst and story.
yes.
And it's one that isn't done over and over and over again. And it's not cheating and it's not, you know what I mean? So that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a new story. It's something
Hmm.
that has not been seen before.
Hmm.
Um, because they had to figure out a way. I don't like all the hate that Violet gets. I think she's a fantastic actor as she is at her age. Um,
She is a fantastic little actress.
yeah,
I, I have my opinion of children on soap operas is that until they're old enough to actually have like a teen story or whatever,
right.
to me, they are props.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know what I mean? It's no different than the bowl of moss. You know what I mean? It's a prop, and they are props for stories, propeller of stories. I'm not the biggest fan of the character because she reminds me of a young Robin Scorpio who
That's
I
what I
mean,
was going to
I
say.
was like the same age as Robin, and I
Oh,
hated her as a child. I
okay.
was just, she annoyed me. Characters like that just do, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
wasn't the biggest fan of young Joss when
Yeah.
she was,
I
the
remember
Joss of
in
the
her
Corn.
Children of the Corn
Joss
state.
of the Corn, yeah. When they get to be bratty teenagers and stuff like that, then it's a little different thing. But yeah, I mean, Michael was more interesting as a child, the redheaded
Yeah.
demon. But
Yeah, well, I mean, because he and Morgan were Sonny's kids, so it gave them more story because they were always targets,
Right.
and the fact of, Michael killing his stepmother because she was holding Carly and Joss hostage.
Yeah.
And, um,
Well, I would say actually that they were more interesting because they were Carly's kids. Because young Christina wasn't interesting until she was a teenager. And she
okay.
was Sonny's kid too. So, and neither was Molly. So it's the Carly effect. I submit to you. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
You'll allow it? Okay.
I'll allow it. Absolutely. All right. So we're still looking at Finn being basically yelled at and confronted by all the people in his life.
Yeah.
Today we saw Alexis. Last week we saw Elizabeth. We saw Chase in Brooklyn. Elizabeth
Hmm.
even came back afterwards, and just kind of followed up to see if there was anything left to salvage, and clearly there wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just a matter of, you know, Finn lashing out at everybody. And again, I have to admit, I was one of the
Yeah.
people that said, you know what? He never had a drinking problem, so the one drink that he had,
Yeah.
mattered. But clearly it's the personality, the addictive personality problem that
Right.
one of the problems with addicts.
Right. Exactly. Um, I think it's going to be interesting. I think Tracy gets in on this week,
Okay.
at the end of the week, because Finn's lashing out on Thursday, and
Yeah.
on Friday, Tracy fields an emergency.
So that has to be it. Yeah.
I have a feeling that that's what, yeah, and that's what this story needs is Tracy to get involved.
And yeah, exactly. Because Tracy's the one that was close to both Finn and Gregor. Well,
Mhm.
so was
And
Alexis.
Gregory. Yep.
Yeah. But and so was Alexis. But I think the problem is that because Alexis was more of his sponsor when it
Yeah.
came to the drinking, she was more focused on that. Uh,
Hmm.
whereas Tracy is just more in a friend capacity.
And the thing is that what's interesting about Tracy is that she can confront him
Yes.
without his defenses getting up as much because Tracy's a confrontational.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
dealing with Tracy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not people that he's not used to confronting him. He's
Right.
been friends with Tracy for a long time. He knows, so she can be
She'll call him out on
a
his
hard
bullshit.
ass with him because that's how she is. And it won't instantly set him on the defensive as much, I don't think. And if he gets on the defensive, she won't care or back down.
Right.
She'd
Exactly.
be like, so yeah. So I'm interested to see when Tracy jumps into this, you know,
Absolutely.
how that's going to go.
Yes. All right. So let's kind of move on now to Drew Quartermain, as he's going to be
Mm-hmm.
into. He has accepted the challenge of running for Senate or for
Mm-hmm.
representative, and he's going to represent the. He's going to be going to Washington. He accepted the endorsement of the outgoing congressperson,
The
and
now defunct 28th district in New York that doesn't exist anymore. Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. But it's all right. It's okay. It's a soap opera. We don't need that kind of realism. But yes,
Yeah.
yes, he's going to be. Yep. I like Drew changing his name to Quartermain.
I
I
think it
wish
makes sense.
Michael would do it again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think Michael likes having the power of both names now, the Corinthos and the Quartermain. Um,
No, I think that he has the Corinthos because, Sonny, he's trying to, be Sonny's son. But honestly, because he doesn't want the kind of power that the Corinthos name brings.
there wasn't
He flat out had said before, he's like, I want the Corinthos name to mean something different and not mean what Sonny is.
okay. Yeah, that's true. I get
Yeah.
that. Absolutely.
So,
Because I mean, for the most part, the Corinthos name is tied with the mob. So, you have a Corinthos name come in and become
mm,
big wig in corporate world, whether it's ELQ or Aurora or whatever, it does. It turns it around.
Right. So Quartermain carries more weight in those circles in the
Yeah.
way you'd want it to, I would think. I can't tell you how happy I was that they finally let Carly change her name to Spencer.
Yeah, that
I
made
was
sense.
so sick of them making her keep Corinthos. Even when she was married to Jax, she was like Carly Corinthos Jax. I was like,
That made no sense. Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
hated it.
Made no sense at all.
I was so happy that she changed her name to Spencer. And I know it cracks me up all the haters that call her Benson, try to deny her Spencerhood. And it's so funny because I'm like, she used the name Benson for literally 1 year on screen, 1998 to 1999. She didn't start using it until after Bobby found out who she was, after Michael, well after Michael was born.
Yep.
Michael was, you know, and then she only used it till she married AJ in 99. And then from then on, she never went back to Benson. She was Quartermain, Corinthos, Alcazar, Jax,
Yeah.
Morgan, Corinthos, Spencer. And I love that she's Spencer. Love it, love it, love it.
And it makes sense because it kind of makes her her own person rather
Hmm.
because the running I don't know what do you call it um trying to think of the word, but the running issue that a lot of people see with Carly is that she gets handed things from all of her ex-husbands, whether it's the house or the Metro Court or whatever, or Jason, getting her everything. But having her as a Spencer kind of puts legitimacy to her that she doesn't need to get anything for
It
anybody
just it really cracks me up when people talk about how she like Carly's. You know how Sonny got his territory?
from his father. No, no,
No, he
mom.
married Lily. He
Okay, that
married Lily and got her father's territory
okay. So Lily was the daughter of.
of Rivera.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how Sonny married to get his territory. You know what I mean? Who wasn't handed. Carly works harder than the majority of the people on the show who wasn't handed something.
That's true. I agree.
I mean, Aurora, when Sam and Drew bought Aurora, that was with Jason's money.
Yep.
That wasn't, Sam didn't earn that money.
No.
They bought a media company from her father.
Yes.
Nina inherited every dime she has.
Yes. Yep. And she
How
was put
how
into
is
Crimson,
inheriting it from their father any different than getting it from their husband?
and she was put into the position at Crimson by Julian, thinking that he was going to put in the ground.
Exactly. Exactly. And the thing with Crimson too is that Kate made Crimson what it was.
Yes.
And then Maxie made it what it was under Nina.
Yeah. You're right.
And I'm just this whole everybody gets everything handed to them. Okay, Liz is a nurse and she works.
Yep.
Jason bought her house. When the house blew up, the insurance paid for the new place.
I thought
He gave her,
that was Liz had a house that blew up too, because I thought that was
yeah,
Alexis's.
no, Liz had a house that blew up.
Oh wow. Okay.
And that was the house Jason paid for, just paid for the house. And
Wow.
before that, her and Lucky lived in the Spencer house. Then, and Jason gave her a $5 million trust fund for the boys, and she blew it on whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she got more money after that.
Wow.
But Jason bought Liz a house. How is that different than Carly's husband Jax buying her a house or her getting Sonny's house in the divorce?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, this whole Carly gets everything handed to Carly. She wanted to work, and Sonny gave her some position of power at deception with Laura, but held back 1% of it, so she didn't truly have the power of it. And she worked
Wow.
her ass off at deception. And then it got taken away from her.
Hmm.
Then she opened the bar below Kelly's, the cellar. It was a restaurant and bar. Started that thing from scratch. Yes, Sunny financed it, and it was in her mother's place. It was underneath Kelly's, but Carly did all the work for it.
Wow.
And then she had a club with Jax.
Really?
And then, and yeah. And the thing with the Metro Court is that she owned the land the Metro Court was built on
Right.
because she got that in her divorce from Alcazar.
Yes.
And then, her and Luke had that scheme for, her to get the part, for Jax to sell her half of the Metro Court. He didn't
Yeah.
give that to her.
Hmm.
She bought it. So and she worked her ass off at the Metro Court and made that everything it was, and it was said multiple times on screen. And they have forgotten this, but they used to talk about how she had opened sister hotels
Yes.
various places around the world too, but suddenly those disappeared, and that was 100% her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she rejuvenated Kelly's. Yes, Bobby gave it to her for $1. Okay. But it cracks me up. All these people who talk about Carly gets handed everything as though everyone on this show didn't.
Right. No, you're right.
Drew got handed everything because he had Jason's money and then he's the quarter main. I mean, Ned, Tracy got handed everything.
Yeah. It's a BS narrative.
Sorry, I went on a little bit of rant there. It's one of those things that, annoys me because they act like,
Right. They act like Carly is special when honestly it's everybody. So they're nitpicking because they don't like the
because
character.
they don't like Carly.
Right. Um, all right. So as we get back, bring the train back onto the rails off that little sidetrack. Um,
You're gonna
so
have to get used to this. Sorry, buddy. Yeah.
not a problem at all. I'm happy because I go off on side tangents myself all too much.
Okay.
All right. So Drew is going to be quartermain. He's going to be running. He did, start his little. I'm telling everybody that I'm going. I'm running for
Mhm.
Congress. He told Curtis. He told Michael. Today he announced it to everybody that was at the party.
He had a talk with Carly about it last week too, I think.
Yes, he did have a talk with
Last week or
Carly.
the week before. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because he went over specifically to her and um
I think we're to assume he talked to everybody
yeah,
without him having the same
of
conversation with
course.
every person. So
Right.
I think
Um
we're to assume that Sam already knew and stuff like that. I think.
yeah, oh yeah, of course. Um, because that's the other thing is, you have Scout who missed out on a lot of her father in, when he was held captive
Mhm.
by the Cassadines, when he was in prison. So now he's home and now he's going to be going back and forth to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to see the same vitriol that Sam has against Jason because he's constantly out of the picture to have against Drew for doing these voluntarily outside of being,
Yeah.
but now he's choosing to go back and forth to Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of I'm not sure. I don't think that that's totally the same thing as Jason, and I could see her, having issue with it, but I don't think that it's that bad of Drew to do. Um One, they have a lot of time off.
Yeah.
A lot of time off.
Oh yeah. Hell,
And there are times that she could go with him and it'd
yeah.
be a very educational and stuff like that. I don't know that it's that different, but
Yeah. No, you're right. And that's true. They do have a lot of time off. They maybe work 6 weeks a year. Um, you know, and they get to vote their own raises in, but that's that's another story. That's
It's a
not
whole
going to
other
be
podcast.
that's a whole exactly a whole nother podcast.
Mhm.
If we ever get to political news, that's not going to happen
Oh,
here.
you and I could have some fun with that one.
um,
Might
although
not end up speaking after it, but that's okay.
the one thing, although I will say that no matter what anybody's personal politics are, I generally do not. I try not to unfriend, if that's a word, anybody due to their politics because everybody has the right to their own political
Mhm.
choice and views. I have
Yes.
mine, you have yours, everybody has theirs, and 95% of people are somewhere in the middle. They're not all one way, not all another.
Yep.
So it just, depends on exactly what you believe in and, what have you. And that kind of brings me to the point of it being June, it being Pride Month. Why are we not seeing Brad? Why are we not seeing Felix? Why are we not seeing all the people that are actually part of the LGBTQ community on screen? Other than Christina and Blaze.
Well, I mean, Felix is incredibly not even doesn't even count as a recurring character anymore. We haven't seen Brad in a long, long,
Yeah.
long time. And because we haven't seen, he was more part of like the Selena Wu and the Brit
Yeah.
and stuff like that. There's just, I mean, honestly, I know that we're gonna see Terry,
Okay. Yep.
and it fits with the stuff going on with Finn and Liz and stuff like that to see Terry. But I mean, I'd honestly be a little bit annoyed if they just brought them back to show them during
Just
Pride
because
Month
of Pride
with
Month. You're right.
just because of Pride Month. We're seeing a lot with Blaze, and
Yep.
I mean, I'm alone. I'm used to being an island. I think the whole thing with Natalia, I think it's a perfect time. A lot of people are
I do
very
too.
upset that it's happening
Absolutely.
during Pride Month, but I'm like, this is why we have Pride Month, because people have to deal with this shit still.
Yeah.
This is what Pride Month is about. It's not a woohoo, ha, I'm gay, it's wonderful. That's not what Pride Month is. Pride Month is about being able to be honest about who you are and not have to hide it. So this storyline I think is very timely for Pride Month.
Yes.
And
No,
it's
you're
one
absolutely
that's
right.
been unfolding longer than Pride Month too, which is
Yeah.
important, I think.
Right. Exactly.
It's just like we don't want to just see the African American characters in February.
Right.
We don't want to
Exactly.
just see, same thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. Exactly. I mean, like last year on Days when Abe was having his, you know, amnesia spell, they had his son, I forget his name, make the Juneteenth speech.
Oh yeah, Theo,
Or
Theo,
um, was that
Theo.
Theo? Yeah.
Yep.
Was it the Juneteenth speech or was it the
Hmm.
Martin Luther King
It
speech?
was the Juneteenth,
Juneteenth. Yeah.
I think. Yeah, because Martin Luther King was. Wait, was it? Yeah,
I
because
can't,
Martin Luther King was in February, right? So
yeah.
Juneteenth would have been. Yeah, because that was him and Paulina's wedding anniversary.
That's right. Yeah.
So it was
So
the Juneteenth.
right. And one
Because
of
it
the
was in
things
the
that
park too, which the MLK would not have been in Salem.
right, you're right.
Yeah.
And Nathan, welcome to the show and welcome to the chat. Hope you're enjoying it. Um, and that's one of the things I like about watching soap operas. And people give soap operas a lot of slack for, not being real or whatever. It's a soap opera. You have to suspend your
Hmm.
disbelief. But the one thing that I will say is that for certain subjects, like Juneteenth, for example, which honestly I only heard of maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Hmm.
But that's because it's not taught
Right.
to, for most of the United States. I never learned about it in school, and
Hmm.
I honestly just learned about it because of the media and stuff. But I actually found out the reason behind it thanks to Days of Our Lives,
Hmm. Yeah.
and that's one of the greatest things about the genre is that because they have they have, you know, 200 and something episodes a year, you're able
Right.
to explain certain things rather than like a primetime episode that has a 30 minutes a week or a 1 hour a week show and you can't get into that much detail. At
Right.
least with, you're able to we were able to see the full speech or part of the speech that Theo
Hmm.
gave
Right.
and learn about it. So
Hmm.
I give soaps a lot of props because of that.
Yes.
Um, I wish they would do more, in terms of, uh no, because I can't even say that. They're doing a great job with the Natalia storyline because they're showing the they're basically putting everybody who's, anti-gay into the Natalia character. And she's
Right.
even not fully anti-gay. She just doesn't understand the lifestyle that her daughter's choosing.
Right. Yeah.
Because she basically says, "Oh, I'm okay with whatever choice you have, but not for my daughter because of the image it would portray to
Hmm.
the people outside."
Well, they started it off as she was just like a controlling momager, but then that it took a turn though with her talk with Ava.
Yeah,
But you know that recording is going to come up.
it will. Yes. Yep.
That recording is definitely going to come up, which will
Exactly.
be interesting.
Yeah. But I do like how they're portraying Natalia as somebody
Mhm.
who you don't want to root for.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing is that, they're not portraying her as the good guy.
No, not at all.
She's definitely, and, I absolutely, I mean, I love Ava LaRue.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that I would literally yeet any woman on screen and the men as well at Sunny as a romantic interest to keep my Carly safe.
Yeah.
But I hate it when he's paired with somebody that I like. Like I liked Nina before she was paired with Sunny, and I like Nina again. I love Ava. I don't want to see people I like paired with him because I can't stand him, even if they have chemistry. But Natalia, I like Eva LaRue, but Natalia, can't stand that character. Perfect. I see it in this week's in on Wednesday. Natalia and Sunny are bonding. Him all over that shit.
Yeah. And it's going to cause chaos because their kids are dating. So,
Yes.
it's like it's going
Yeah.
to cause a lot of chaos. And especially
Mhm.
the fact that, Sonny is accepting of Christina as a
Yes.
bisexual or lesbian or whatever.
Hmm.
And, he's accepting of their relationship and Natalia is not. So there's going
Right.
to be a problem coming down the pike.
Oh yeah.
Ava is going to be all up in that problem.
Oh God, yeah. She has like the perfect. She is like, you are not stepping in here, woman.
Yep.
I am gonna blow your house down, baby.
Yes, she is. Um, okay. Although Sonny did try to make amends with Christina this week by
She
bringing her
did,
gift for the baby and a
which
pup.
was so inappropriate.
It was. I agree.
It's not her baby.
Right.
None,
It was.
none of them seem to know that, but he had already said that, he was going to be a grandpa too and whatever. But yeah, I was just like, that is not, no, 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 but whatever. It's Sunny. Of course, he's not going to do anything right. But yeah.
I do want to see Rick back though for this. Like
Oh,
I feel
God,
like
I would
Rick
love
should
that.
be back for the birth of his grandchild because it is
Right?
Molly, you know.
Hmm.
Although the fact that they're teasing a lot of dissension now between Molly and TJ, and
Hmm.
they've been bringing up the law that the baby is legally TJ and Christina's, so there's going to be some kind of a legal battle brewing.
And we all were like making jokes a few weeks ago when Molly and TJ went out and they had the big conversation about what to call each other,
Yeah,
domestic partnership, reminding us they're not married.
right, exactly.
And now we know that was the entire point of that whole thing that we were making fun of.
Yeah,
It was just
because
a little reminder to the audience that these people are not actually married.
right, and that means that as of now, TJ holds all the control when it comes to this baby. And
Hmm.
the fact is that Molly still has no rights at all, even if the surrogacy goes through as planned, they're not married. So
Right.
in reality,
She has to adopt the baby.
yes, exactly.
Yes.
She would
Yep.
need to adopt it, and Christina would have to waive all parental rights,
Hmm.
and should something happen with Molly and TJ, then TJ being the biological father gives him a leg up in the situation anyways.
Well, not if she adopts the baby. If she
No,
adopts the
that's
baby,
right.
they're on equal footing. If she doesn't adopt the baby, then she's just kind of SOL.
Yeah. exactly.
because he'd be the only legal parent.
And then we also saw this week the Blaze said, I wish this child was ours together, which I'm sorry, they've been dating for 3 months.
They haven't even said I love you yet. That's what's
Right.
weird to me. Is I was
Yeah.
like, where is that coming from? It would have been a very, very sweet scene if that's where they were in their
In
relationship,
a
but
relationship. Like if
it's
this was a
not.
year down the road or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that made no sense at all.
Or
Um,
if they had said I love you, which I would accept, it's a soap opera, whatever.
yeah, right. And
And
it
I
just
mean, I have a sister who's a lesbian. They move in together on the second date.
wow.
She says that all the time. And they're very, very quick with I love you as well.
Wow. Okay.
It's, it's a very, I have a lot of friends that are lesbian. It's a very big joke through the whole lesbian. Actually, the girl, Chloe Lanier, not Chloe Lanier, Allison Lanier, who plays Summer on Young
Yeah.
and the Restless, is a lesbian.
Oh,
And
I did
she
not
made a
know
joke about it on
that.
her Twitter that I'll send you. It was really funny.
Yeah,
So,
I did not
yeah.
know.
So I'm like,
But
why are these the only lesbians who haven't declared their love and moved in with each other after just a couple months?
I think they have to worry about Natalia first.
Right. Right.
But and it's like I almost thought that with Natalia coming in and being so against the pairing that you would have seen Blaze be more internally conflicted with her love for her mother or her love for Christina. Um, but we see that she's clearly in the corner of being with Christina because
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like she resents the fact that her mother is her manager and making all these decisions. So we're going to see that come to a head at some point. And I know Brooklyn is currently involved with the Finn and Chase and everything, but she's gonna have to be involved because
Oh
she
God,
is
yeah.
the recording manager for Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw the scene at their wedding that Blaze said, my brother doesn't even want to be part of the music industry because of you anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
where's I want to see some kind of a contract that shows what kind of power Natalia really has, and what's the contract with Brooklyn. I thought Brooklyn was her manager. That was the whole point.
Yeah, that is
Agent.
very weird.
It's like
Yeah.
is her mother her manager or her agent, and Brooklyn's her manager? I need to see some kind of a um differential here.
Right. Yeah.
There,
Yeah, it's weird, that whole
yeah,
thing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Show business in general and the music industry in general is fucked up. And if you ever watch the movie Be Cool, you know that. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of my favorite movies. But and if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go watch it. It's based off a book by Elmore Leonard, who and
Mm-hmm.
it's a sequel to Get
I love.
Shorty. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic movie, and it was and The Rock was in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually read the book, because I actually read the book, the character that The Rock plays in the book, it feels like it's actually written for The Rock because he's a big Samoan who can lift one eyebrow, and that's The Rock. Um, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
go out of your way to watch Be Cool. It is on Max. Um, so check that out. And not to mention John Travolta and Uma Thurman are the lead characters. And
Mm-hmm. Which is always great.
yeah, and John Travolta in every movie that he's in, he has to have some kind of a dancing scene. I think that's in his
Oh God, yeah.
contract.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's John Travolta.
but yeah, okay, back again, back on track.
Okay.
Um, we see that Trina goes to confront Laura
Mm-hmm.
about Heather, and it's
It kind of turned around there a little.
it did, and I kind of like at the end that Kevin came in and said, "I was about to run interference because of you," to Trina.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, So clearly, this editorial guy is, and I can't even remember his name, but going to be a thorn in the side of Alexis because he's a dirt sheet writer. That's what he is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, whether it's soap opera news or soap opera digest or Dave Meltzer in the wrestling industry, he's a
Yeah.
dirt sheet writer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's just putting stuff out there without any proof because the headline was, Trina Robinson, furious you know, at
Right. Well,
Laura
yeah.
for
Trina
wanting.
Robertson speaks out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, my thing is that one, I've been screaming from the rooftops that this is Laura. This is how Laura has always been.
yeah,
But also not wrong
yeah,
about, you know what I mean? And
right.
Laura was horrified at the idea of Heather just walking free.
Then
She
why is
doesn't
she pushing
actually
for it?
want what?
Then why is she? I get it. They're
She's not, she wants to make sure that true justice is served. She wants to make sure that if Laura or if Heather should be in, I think she thinks that Heather should be in Ferncliff or a
yeah,
mental health, lockup rather than Pentonville,
yeah,
which is where Heather always was. She was
right.
always in an asylum because she's batshit crazy and has been since the 70s.
Yeah, whether it's
Um,
Ferncliff or Darkham or whatever.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. And now she's in Pentonville.
yeah.
And so Laura's like, I just want to make sure that, she's where, because that's justice. And she's not wrong.
No, she's not. Not on that aspect.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yep.
I still think that she's going to, find a way out and snag that baby, and we'll see.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I still say that she's playing Laura.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing a full redemption. And I mean, I
No.
know that they want to keep Allie Mills around, but I don't think, it's not like they've put her on contract.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want to keep her around as a character they can bring back as recurring.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know, they did enough of a redemption with Cyrus
Yeah.
to do the same thing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a soap opera.
And we still don't know who shot Austin. I mean, that's like one of those storyline dead ends that, is just not going to um
Yeah, I mean, we may never know. It may have just been dropped, or it may be part of the Pikeman wrap up.
exactly. It's always a possibility. And the fact that speaking of Pikeman, Anna went to go see Brennan this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the interplay
Mm-hmm.
between Vanilla Hughes and Charles Meyer on set
Oh,
when they're in character. Just
mm-hmm.
absolutely fantastic.
It really was. And it was, you know, he's a bad guy, but he's not like evil for evil's sake. You know what I mean? Like he said, a guy's got to pay his, but it's like it's business to
Yeah,
him. I also still am not 100% convinced that, he is full bad or that Valentin is the bad guy. But he said something interesting because he was warning her about Jagger,
yes, yep,
which tells me that he is not trying to set Anna up
right,
to fall for him because he wouldn't have warned her.
right, exactly.
He would have just let Jagger, if anything, he'd be like, hey, Valentin, we got a way out of this.
Yeah,
Um, but he warned her, but he said something very interesting because he said Jagger is a true believer. Now, you remember the guy who killed himself with the cyanide tablet when
yes,
Anna and Philip, they said that he was a true believer.
yes,
It's like a cult like group.
yep.
And it was also tied into like the Shiloh stuff. And so I think that's going to play
For Dawn of
into,
Day.
yes. And
Wow. Okay.
Victor. And Victor.
Oh yeah, Victor
It was,
too.
yes, like a DVX, the DVX. So that and the WSB. So that's going to be, and I don't necessarily think that they're going to have Jagger be a bad guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he could be a useful idiot.
Yeah.
It's like Shiloh's cult members weren't all bad guys, but they
Right.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's this is getting interesting.
It is.
This
Oh,
story is like, I am so excited that we finally reached this.
yeah. And I just hope that it doesn't screw it up with Patrick Mulcahy leaving. Like
Mm-mm. From what I understand, the majority of the Pikeman story and storyline idea and all of that
Elizabeth Corte.
was Elizabeth Corte. That was the majority of that was her heading it. Now, the Patrick Mulcahy stuff is going to continue airing through July anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of at least the wrap up of the FBI part of it all.
Yeah.
And I think that it mostly comes into a head in July, and they're dealt with that, and then it'll veer off into other stories that are um part of that. But yeah, I think that I don't think it's gonna be messed up.
Yeah. No, it's going to be good. It's the story itself is fantastic, and it's all these little Easter eggs in whether
Mhm.
it's in the script, in the dialogue, or just being able to go back and be like, "Oh, I missed it the first time." All these little hints are being dropped, and
Yeah.
and it's like you still don't know. It's like that's one of the best things about the way the writing is now. It's not predictable. You cannot predict where it's going. Whether it's Anna being framed for
Mhm.
something again, or
Yeah.
or who knows? Maybe we'll find out that Victor's still alive.
And there's so much talk too. Like, like today after the previews, the
Yeah.
breakdown said that Sam has a request for Carly. But then we're in the previews going, oh my God, why is Carly yelling at her? Because we had all figured that the request was that Sam wanted her to do something with video at the pool to cover for
Yep.
Spinelli or let her into Jagger's room. And they were like, oh my God, what if this is about, talking Jason into staying away from Danny? And that's why Carly's yelling what she's yelling at her. But then
Yep.
one of my friends called me today and she went, do you think that Sam's request to Carly is that they stage a fight with Jagger for Jagger's benefit? And I was like, oh my God,
Oh,
that's
wow.
another possibility.
Yeah.
And then we have Jason going, he's setting you up. We're all pretty sure he's talking to Anna,
Yeah.
but are we sure he's talking to Anna? And he's not talking to, we don't know. And who is he?
Right.
So I love that there's so many questions, but it's
Yeah.
still a compelling story. And it's not like with Chris and Dan, we were like, our questions were, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
good questions, it's anticipation, and love that again.
Exactly. And
We're excited to
it's
watch.
one of the best things that I'm really picking up now, and um nope, that's not the right hang on, I'm trying to figure out I'm looking something up because um
I
there,
sent you that Allison Lanier tweet too, by the way.
oh, okay. So the elements, that's what I'm looking at. The elements for great television. Now, of course, it's of course it has everything to do with wrestling that I'm taking it from. Um,
Mhm.
but Eric Bischoff, who is the former head of WCW, and he's been on he has his own podcast, 83 Weeks. Um, but he did come up with of course, I cannot find what it actually stands for. Son of a bitch. Grr. Um, let's see. It's called the Sarsa formula,
Mhm.
and it stands for, and I'm trying to find it. So bear with me.
Okay.
Come on. Of course, because I'm on here, it's not going to be easy to find. Uh,
Mhm.
no, that's the Sarsa is. Oh, there we go. Story, anticipation, reality, surprise, and action. And right
Mhm.
now, we are getting all of them on
Mhm.
General Hospital. The story has gotten so much better in the past couple of months, ever since Patrick and Elizabeth took over.
Mhm.
And we were just talking about the anticipation
Mhm.
because, we don't know what's going on. We're anticipating the next thing because it's must watch. It's can't
Yeah.
miss.
Yeah.
The reality, well, of course, you have to suspend disbelief because it's a soap opera, but either way, it's like
Yeah.
in reality, things like this, tend to happen because who's backstabbing who? Not everybody is all hunky dory. And we're
Right.
getting the reality when it comes to Finn and Elizabeth,
Hmm.
that storyline. Surprise,
And these things are reality within this format.
yes.
You know what I mean? It doesn't,
Yeah,
reality doesn't have to mean this is what happens in your day to
in real
day.
life.
It's
Yep,
reality within, you know what I mean? Because there's great writing in fantasy,
there is. Yeah,
but it's reality within that universe.
yes.
Does that make sense?
And yeah, no, it does. And then surprise, we are getting surprises left and right.
Hmm.
Whether or not it's, like Jagger coming back and Jagger's, the one that's the FBI or the head of the WSB being the head of Pikeman. And now he's
Hmm.
warning Anna that somebody's setting him up and Jason coming back and all of this stuff leads into the surprise and then action.
Hmm.
The action is there. It does, Sonny beating down Dex or, you know,
Hmm.
whatever the case may be, or Jason getting shot at. The fact is that the action's there. So I wanted to bring that up, and I'm glad I found it. So I apologize if I took too long, but the SARSA formula is working on General Hospital,
Hmm.
and you know that is why it is so good right now.
Can I just interrupt real quick? The
Sure.
Boston Celtics won.
Okay. That
Number
means
18.
nothing to me.
They won the NBA Finals. The
Okay.
Boston Celtics are the champions. 18th banner. Here we come. Sorry, had to. I'm very excited.
Congratulations to the Boston Celtics. That means
Yes.
nothing to me because I don't follow that.
I
Um,
basketball, yeah. It's all right. I just wanted to.
Hopefully
I
in
just,
October the Yankees will win and then we'll be good to go.
why? What is wrong with why? You hurt me. You hurt me, Vin. Cut me real deep, man.
All right. Well, there we go. Back to GH. Um, all right. So I do like, as we were talking about Heather and Laura and the whole situation, we did have a great scene between Diane and Alexis regarding
Mhm.
that situation. Very rarely that you see Diane get frazzled.
Yeah, that was a really great scene. It
It
really
was
was. Diane's like, what vague back in the you know Middle Eastern times or whatever, not Middle Eastern, good lord, it's late here.
Middle Ages.
Yeah, Middle Ages times did you take that from? In my it's just like, and then as Alexis said it and she was like, oh my god.
The
Yeah.
Franco defense, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, ah.
And I like how
It
like
was really great.
if it worked for her son, maybe it'll work for her because that's just
Right.
you forget that Franco was her son.
Yeah. Then I liked one of them called it the Twinkie defense, which cracked me up.
The Twinkie defense.
Yeah, because many people remember when the Twinkie defense was, somebody, I can't even remember the case. I just remember that it was somebody who said the effects of too much sugar made them do something.
Well, at least it's not like the Chewbacca defense from South Park. um, all right. So yeah, that was a great scene. And I love how Alexis kind of said it's a possibility. And they're not necessarily going for it, but
Mhm.
they're gonna have it reviewed.
Right,
If the case has to be reopened because of this information.
right.
And what the thing is that you're looking at it like, okay, so she's had metallosis and the hip implant was back in the 70s, correct?
Mhm.
So it's been, 50 years almost, that she's been crazy because of the LSD and now this metallosis.
Hmm.
So I agree with you where you say Laura is looking to make sure that she's um getting the help she needs. Not that she's going to be released, but
And the same with Alexis.
yeah,
Because and for Alexis, she believes in the justice system.
yes,
And the justice system says this is what happens. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the thing is that that's hard for Diane as well because she also believes in that system, but she's so
right.
close to this because she was
She was
also a
attacked.
victim.
Yep.
Right. But now that she's started to look at it as, like the defense she mounted for Franco, now she's having a little bit of a dilemma because
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's going to be good to see. I really hope that we get those court scenes.
Mm.
I want to see them because it's going to be spectacular because they're going to have to show it. It's not going to be something they can do off screen. It has to be shown.
Well, I mean, we do know that the courthouse set was recently up because Steve did a series of 3 pictures for daytime drama or daily drama, whatever the
Yep.
website is,
Daily drama.
where he posed in front of 3 sets
Hmm.
and said, "Where in the world is Jason Morgan?" And one of them was the courthouse set. And the only permanent set is the hospital. So if another set was up, it was being filmed on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Kind of moving on a little bit. Um, I don't know what else. What else do we have? I did like the scene with Stella and Tracy.
Hmm.
Um, I love
Yeah,
their friendship.
I
That's
do
one of
too.
the friendships I didn't know we needed.
Hmm.
Because it's one of those things where um they come from two different backgrounds. They're two
Hmm.
totally different people.
Yeah.
But with the way that and this year has almost been that softening of Tracy that we've been talking about and that we've been
Hmm.
loving.
Yep.
Uh, I can't see 3 years ago, you know, Tracy being friends with Stella because she
No.
was too much of a, I don't want to say schemer, but she was always about the what's in it for me,
Hmm.
not
Right.
worried about anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, aging and losing Luke
Yep.
changed her. So,
And now losing Gregory because she
yes.
opened up to him.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but I did like that conversation. Um, we're going to be seeing a lot more that we're getting into the July sweeps pretty soon. Uh,
Hmm.
we're going to be seeing Mac back this week, so
Yep.
that's a
And
great
they
thing.
have cast Bailey Lou.
Oh, they have.
Yes, it's little twin girls. There's a picture of Mac holding
Oh,
her.
okay.
Yep.
So Bailey
So,
is coming back, and we're
hmm,
getting closer
yep,
to.
she's a toddler.
Oh wow, okay.
Hmm.
Little wheezy phase on as
Yeah, a little wheezy face on.
oh,
Yes.
and then we're getting close to a lot of the blow-offs of stories at this point
Hmm.
because we're
Yep.
going to be seeing now Cody is going to come
Yep.
clean. I can't wait to see that.
I'm very excited for that.
I am
I
too.
also like Joss and Dex reconnecting because I loved them. And I
Yes,
love the start so far of Gio and Trina.
yes. I
At the
there's
pool
a
and
and there are people that are thinking that Gio and Joss were flirting. I didn't
I
think so.
didn't see that at all. I thought it was a very friendly vibe, but it didn't seem flirty at all to me.
Yeah, and I liked how it looks like Joss and Trina may be moving into the garage, the
In the
apartment
quarter
above
mains,
the
yeah.
main garage. How many freaking apartments does this place have? Like,
Well, everybody else just lives in rooms in the mansion, or Michael
yeah,
and Willow live in the gatehouse, but
and there's a
um,
boathouse.
and there's a boathouse. But yeah, so everybody else just has rooms in the mansion, which is weirder, but I absolutely love that.
Yeah,
I absolutely, absolutely love it. I'm very excited about this foursome.
yes.
They look like they have a good time behind the scenes and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that too, which I love. Um,
Are
I
are
also
are
I
Eden
think
McCoy and
Geo
Evan
is
Hoffer dating in real life?
what?
Are Eden McCoy and Evan Hoffer dating in real life?
No,
Okay.
no. She has
That
a
was a rumor.
boyfriend. I don't know if they were. Part of me thinks they were dating, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
Um, we'll talk off screen. Anyway. Yeah. But they're, obviously still really good
They're
friends
friends. Yeah.
either way. And he's great with Tabby, and now he seems to really like this Geo kid. And I love that. I love how, and I think Geo is Drew's son.
Drew's son? Yeah, it could be. There
His
were people
father
saying Jason's
died.
son as well, but I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
he's Jason's son, but it lines up with Drew because he said his father died in Afghanistan
Yeah.
and he never met him.
Right.
Drew went missing in Afghanistan when
Yes.
they took him to
Right.
brainwash him,
Yes.
and he was presumed
Dead. Yeah.
killed in action. And then he was looking at Jason, saying that he looked familiar, but not from the wedding. That was
That's
when
right. Yes.
he was Jason's identical twin.
That's right.
I
Yes.
bet mom had a picture
Yes. Yes.
of
You
a
are
young
correct.
soldier Drew.
That could be. Yes. That makes
Yes.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
kind of put the family tree together. Okay, that doesn't make any
Mm-hmm.
blood relation. So all right, so Gio and Trina
Yeah.
together are clear.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
got to put blood relations,
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
because again, if it turns out that Dex is Jason's son, you
Right.
know, you have Joss and Dex together, and their parents are their soulmates. So
But
it's
again,
again
no blood relation.
right, no blood
It's so
relation.
funny too because like a lot of my jar, like we always joke about retconning or changing the paternity. Everybody does, they all
Yeah,
joke, because Jason's so you know into Carly's kids, and
yeah,
I'm like, no, not Joss,
yeah.
because that would mean she's sleeping with her brother. Can't happen. And they're like, Dexter's not Jason's. I'm like, yes, he is. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they almost teased that with Michael and Kiki, thinking when they thought that Kiki
yeah,
was a,
yeah.
quarterback. So yeah,
Well, and then a lot of people still think that Nell is Carly's or something. And I'm like, no, Nell is not Carly's. That would
no,
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 that wouldn't have worked.
no.
I
Yeah,
mean, they were adoptive siblings or step siblings or whatever the case was.
yeah.
Um, but
But they
not
didn't even know each other
right,
because she
exactly.
was raised by just Frank, and Frank had left when Carly was little, and yada yada. I
Yeah,
also liked my Jason and Carly scenes,
yes.
so
Jason,
I did.
you can tell the chemistry that Steve Burton and Laura Wright have.
Did you see the Emmys?
I did.
I
Um,
I just love them.
yeah. No, I did. And there were so many
Mhm.
people complaining about the pictures that were coming out because they were supposedly too close.
It was
I
entirely
don't get it.
scripted. Well, did you see somebody was like, Laura posted a picture and somebody quote tweeted it and said, just pee on him already, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
And Laura quote tweeted it and was like, what's wrong with you? This entire thing was scripted. We were just having fun and it was a fun night.
Yeah.
And then Steve just did his podcast and he was talking about it. And he said that it was entirely scripted. They had rehearsed it a couple times. His girlfriend was in the rehearsal. He had asked them
Yeah.
to change liners because he didn't think they were funny, but all of that was scripted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are the apologies to Laura Wright? All of those people who were saying stuff like that. And he looked so uncomfortable and da da da. No, he did not. And
No.
that man praises that woman constantly. They are very good friends. They have been friends since before she was on the show. They've been friends since he was Jason Quartermain,
Yeah.
because they were all part of that young group. They weren't besties back
Yes.
then, but I mean, right now he calls her one of his best friends.
Right. Exactly.
He says it all the time. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? But this is what it was, Vinny. And you may get strongly worded emails.
That's fine.
But what it was is people were mad that it was him up there or her up there with him and not their girl,
Right.
especially because one of them, their girl was there.
Yeah.
And Steve also on his podcast said how it came about is Frank asked him and Laura if they would be
Yeah.
willing to do it, which is another reason I don't think Jason and Liz are coming, because it would have been the perfect time to
Yes.
promote that pairing. Becky
Exactly.
was there at the Emmys.
Yeah.
The shows choose who they send. They
Right.
sent them.
Yeah. And that makes sense. Um, okay, one other thing I do want to get your opinion on, because you weren't on the podcast with us last week. We did cover it. Speaking of the
Mhm.
Emmys, um, there was a whole big thing on Twitter, on Twix, about Tabyana Ali and some internet troll
The
who,
racist, yep. I
yes,
wrote an article about it.
um, and it's like, and I basically responded. First of all, when I found out about that, she was immediately blocked because
Yeah,
there's no room for that in 2024. And even with
so
looking
disgusting.
at her, even looking at her Twix page,
Yeah.
and you know, the fact of her saying that she's MAGA and supporting Trump, she's not a true Trump supporter if she believes in racism. That's number one. And I know that's not your feeling, but the fact is as a Trump supporter, I don't, you know, I don't support racism, nor, as from what I've seen, nor does President Trump. But that's besides the point. Um, However, there's just absolutely no room for it. But the bigger picture, or the bigger issue that people were having, was that ABC or General Hospital didn't come to Tabyana's defenses like what has happened in the past with some other characters or some other actors. Um,
I honestly
and
don't remember ABC coming to anybody's defense for anything. I
I
know
don't,
that Laura Wright, the other, like a week or so ago, said something about, is she, somebody asked her if she was leaving because they saw
yeah,
something and posted it, and she was like, not true. And Nathan Varney made a comment about how, she,
right,
glad you're staying. And people were like, why don't you defend Tabiana? And
yeah,
but it wasn't defending Laura Wright.
no, it was just
It was just,
making
and
them
John
better.
Lindstrom made a joke about that, about lies on the internet.
Yeah,
And the thing is that everybody came out and supported Tabyana.
yes, all the characters did, all
Everybody
the actors,
vehemently. And the
yes,
very first one to do it was Laura Wright.
yes, she
The
was,
very first one to do it was Laura Wright,
yes,
who she is literally the only castmate that ever does.
right.
She's defended Cynthia, she's defended Maura, she's defended Eden, she's defended Tabyana, and nobody ever comes to her defense when she gets attacked, which
Very,
makes me
yeah,
crazy. But it is what it is. But I mean, I blasted that woman. I wrote an article naming her, linking to her Twitter, calling her a racist,
I did
so
not see
that
that.
people would shut her down.
Yeah,
I was trying to sick people on her.
yeah,
I had one of the first articles out. It was either me or the Buzzcast had the first one out that night.
hmm
Um, and I had wanted to write an article previous to this, but every time I've ever seen anything else, it was screen caps and the person's account was shut down. So
yeah,
I was like, I don't really, there's not enough here. I
right,
really want to get into this. But this time I was right there. And Tabiana was completely right
yes,
to
yes, she
defend
was.
herself and to say whatever she wanted. She was nicer than that woman deserved.
Yeah, she did.
But what makes me crazy is that earlier that night, Laura Wright had defended herself, or the day before, Laura Wright had defended herself, and
Mhm.
people jumped all over her for it. She
Yeah.
was horrible for it, searching the tag or da 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 da. And she was just trying to stick her fans on. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
And it's just a
There's a
disgusting,
double standard.
disgusting double standard. And I'm
Yeah.
so sick of it.
Well, I mean, in general, I mean, we've talked about it at length. So social media is just toxic. And I think, when it comes to, you know, I think Laura Wright is probably the most socially active actor
Yeah.
from General Hospital. So she does see a lot of it. So when people don't come to her defense, it's because, they're not on as much. But the fact of the matter is, nobody should be nobody
Mm-mm.
should be doing anything. If you have those feelings, you there shouldn't be any feelings like that anymore in this day and age. But um
Make it
eh,
an inner monologue.
yeah, exactly. Make it
Put
an
your hood back on and keep it to your damn self.
exactly. Don't put it out there because you're just going to make yourself look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it. And then you're going to draw the wrath of 95% of people who
Oh,
have a brain.
I ever see anything like that. But I mean, if I see anybody attacking any of the actors, I come for them full throttled. But especially
Yes.
that crap, oh my God. Yeah. I was blasting that woman
Yeah.
immediately as soon as I saw it, before Tabby saw it.
Yeah. And as I said last week, said it last week and I'll say it again. There's no room for racism, homophobia, transphobia, or any other of these buzzwords out there, any of these other anti-human lifestyle.
Right.
There's no room for it, whether it's
None.
with Suds Media, Suds and Squirt Circle, or anything
None.
else that I do personally. There's
Yeah.
no room for it.
No, I would, and I second that. Don't want any
There
part of any of that crap. We are, nope.
because
I will,
when
want to hate a character, whatever, that's
right,
fine. But you're going to be a racist, a homophobe, a bigot in any way, shape, or form. I am coming for your throat.
yeah, and that's all there is to it.
And I mean, just ask the Jizz fans.
Yeah, no, and that's the way it boils down to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we are just about out of time. I want to thank everybody for watching. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. And again, thank you for all the upticks in subscribers over the past couple of weeks. Let's get up to that 300 mark. Um, and if you are listening on the podcast, go ahead and give that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Angela's going to be back with me for the foreseeable future until Christy, Christy gets better. We'll leave it at that. Um, and so you can expect this explosive style of podcast going forward. Remember, tomorrow night at 10 p.m. right here on this YouTube channel. You're going to see Dockside at the Bay. Kim joins me. We're going to be watching episodes 7 and 8 of season 2 of The Bay, which is phenomenal. And there should be more episodes of The Bay dropping on demand very soon. As of right now, you can only see up until season 7, episode 14 on Popstar, which they did put on demand. I want to thank Popstar because I tweeted them a couple weeks ago asking why their best show is not available on demand, and lo and behold, it is now available on demand on Popstar. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Pop. Um, and this coming Wednesday night at 10 o'clock, not live, I'm going to put that out there, not live, but I'm going to be recording an interview with Charlie from Starkville, Mississippi. You should know him from Jim Cornette's Drive Through. He's also a published author with a second book coming out. He and I are going to be talking about wrestling. He's going to be a presenter at the Sudsy Awards, and that's going to be recorded this Wednesday and released on Thursday at all the platforms as well. But anyways, before we get out of here, we want to do the thankful minute. And as always, ladies first. Angela, I'm putting 1 minute on the clock. What are you thankful for this week?
I am so thankful for my wonderful family and my great friends. Had some really good times with a friend that came in to visit from Alabama, and that was a lot of fun. I am thankful that my shows are so great again. Loving, especially at my general hospital. I am thankful Carly's on 4 days this week. I am thankful my Celtics won. Um, and just I'm thankful to be here with you, Vinny, on Monday nights for the
All
foreseeable
right.
future.
Well, thank you. I am definitely thankful for you coming on. And I'm going to go ahead and to my thankful minute as well. Um, but I'm thankful for my job. I've said it before. After being there only 90 days, I've actually gotten a promotion. And talking to some of the
Congratulations.
management, they're gearing me up to go even higher when the class for assistant manager opens up in January. So I'm moving. I've never been in a place that actually recognized talent, and that's what I absolutely love about where I'm working now. And it's just fantastic, and I'm thankful for not to sound cheesy, but I am thankful for for the audience out there, because without you guys, there would be nothing. We could watch GH, we could watch anything, whether it's WWE or soap operas or whatever. We could watch it, we could talk about it until we're blue in the face, but it's because of you guys that we do this for, and it's because of you that we keep going. So that's why when I say go ahead and subscribe, let's get the subscribership up to 300 and get to that, monetization platform threshold. But the fact is that either way, um, just the popularity and just getting recognized is the most thankful thing that we've done.
Hmm?
And we're out of time. So again, go ahead, vote for the Sudsy Awards, sudsandsquaredcircle.com/Sudsy voting. The voting is open until July 7th. So, um, have fun with that. Share the posts, get people to vote, and then that'll be released on Sunday, July 21st. Well, and that's about it. So, for Angela, I'm Vinny. We'll be back next week with Suds News at our normal time, Monday, 10 p.m. Tomorrow night, Dockside at the Bay, right here, Tuesday, 10 p.m. All right. So have a good night, everybody.